yourself?
All right, how you doing, Angela? Good to see
Fantastic.
you.
You
You
too.
are definitely setting the pace for a lot of women to really just boss up and just do their thing, even in the midst of the times that we're dealing with right now. I applaud you. You
Thank
have done
you.
an awesome job. This is beautiful. Um, Even in the midst of my busy day, had to work all day. I was able to come in and listen in on a lot of the ladies before me, and it was just truly a blessing because it says a lot when a person sets something up
Mhm.
and they include other women or other people to be a part of what it is your vision is and what you're trying to execute. And when you do it right, it's going to be powerful and it's going to be something that everyone will be impacted in some way, form, or fashion. There was not one time today or through the entire process of you putting it together that there was any misunderstanding, miscommunication, or anything that even made me feel like this might not work out.
Mhm.
This is my first virtual empowerment summit. So this for me is very different. It's very new. I'm used to talking to people in person, as many of you know. Um, but this is awesome. And this is wonderful the way you put it together. It was very well put together, I must say.
Got you a
Um,
baby.
yes, so you did your thing.
Thank
It
you.
was um, it was it was some things said earlier on that really brought light to my message. And as you stated before, I am a boss mom. I am a serial entrepreneur. I work with women in the community and abroad. I've had the opportunity to be in the beauty industry for over 25 years, where I have poured into the lives of many, and many have poured into my life as well. And I think that's why this is so important that it brings me to this place where I am now today, that I'm able to sit in a camera setting and talk to women because that's not something that I'm very quick to do. I will just say
Mhm.
that. And it's
Right.
not that I have self-esteem issues or anything like that. I'm just not one of those people who are before the camera type. I'm more behind the scenes of things.
Mhm.
And I like to see everything that my work does be executed amongst those around me. And so I will say this is really has inspired me to do more and step up and do more when it comes to just being in the forefront of things. I watch you. Many people watch you. And it's definitely some things that we are able to build on in our own personal businesses, where it be trying to get into the media spotlight, having more presence and vocal abilities to really take our businesses to the next level. So I thank you for that. I really do.
Ah,
Um,
you are so welcome.
that has definitely inspired me as well. As you said, also, I am in the beauty industry. I'm a licensed nail technician by trade. I am a makeup artist. I do a lot of different things as it relates to building up a person's self-esteem and the image building from the inside out. I believe that you are beautiful. God made you beautiful, and you are as beautiful as you allow yourself to be. But the
Mhm.
beauty comes from within. You can walk around and have more diamonds than a little bit because I love my bling. But you can have the worst attitude to go
Right.
behind the diamonds, and it makes it so ugly. And I will say that I've met many people in my past and on my journey like that. And those were some things, these were people who had misled me at some point in my journey because I felt like I wanted to be like them when I grew up. I wanted to be like them when I become a businesswoman or when I start my business or when I get out in the areas that I want to be in, whether it be ministry or amongst ministry. I was very easily misled by thinking that these people had a positive outlook and had my best interest at heart, and really they didn't. And there were a lot of hidden agendas. And so one of the things I had to know for myself was that I had to build a relationship with God so that that would be amongst me and in my heart, that
Mhm.
that would dwell amongst me, because those type of spirits can consume you in a very negative way and cause everything around you and everything that comes out of you to be very negative to those who you come into contact with. And so I had to make sure that I align myself in the appropriate way, being in the beauty industry, because there are so many things that you could get caught up in the beauty industry that will cause you to get off track and get out of your purpose. And so earlier on in my calling, I didn't realize why I was doing many of the things that I was doing. I've had many jobs in various areas, but one of the things I always went back to was doing nails. And like I told you before, makeup was just not one of the things that I was trying to do. I didn't wear no makeup myself. Now you're going to see my face beat whenever you see me, if you can. But one of the things about it is that it was deeper than that. It was deeper than putting makeup and fingernail polish on a person. It was the encounter and the experience that was shared amongst two people, able to sit down and talk, never knew you from man in the moon, and able to sit down and talk about things that have happened in your life, things that have happened in my life, and be able to agree to disagree on our various opinions about those things. And that's what I found to be so unique in those type of conversations and those encounters that I embarked on my journey. That also laid the platform for me to open up and to share what was going on with me and in my life instead of holding it in. And I found that not only did it build my clientele base, but it also built relationships. It built relationships that were lifelong. And there are relationships that I get phone calls now to this day just to check and see how I'm doing. Or I may be in the state that they're in or passing through where they're from. And they're like, hey, come on by. I got something. You want to get something to eat, or we'll take care of the kids. Those are the type of relationships I was able to build through my journey, to where it don't matter where I go. It don't matter where I stop. And it don't matter what type of obstacles I incur. These people will be there for me. And it was just because of those encounters, whether it was a listening ear that I gave, or some type of motivational message that I poured into their life, or was able to just give them that opportunity to vent. Because a lot of people just want to vent. They just want to talk about what they want to talk about. And sometimes it's just good to listen and not speak. And so we be so quick to speak and pour into people's lives and say things to them that may deter them from the path that God has already planned for them. And so those are things that we have to be careful about too as we lead people and empower people, because not every word is a word for you to give someone. Because you got to know and you got to see that, for one, it's all about your walk as well. You can't tell somebody something that you have not gone through. Because people are looking at you. Like I told you earlier, I watch what you do, because there are some things that you are doing that I desire to do one day. And I just haven't hit that point to just say, I'm going to do it, you know. But I see at one point you said to me that you had put off doing your podcast, and you do that thing like the professional, you know, like you've been doing it for years. And, you know, I commend you on that. And that was just something that let me know God put that in you. It didn't matter when you start, it was in you. So when you did it, it was going to be the way He wanted it to be. And it was the way He planned for it to be. You the one had to be ready. He was waiting on you. You know, and we find ourselves in places where we say we waiting on God. And God is not, that's not the case. He's waiting on us.
Exactly.
He's waiting on us. He's waiting on us to get conformed with what it is that He's already laid the pathway for us to do. And so that's what I try to get people to understand that I come into contact with. You know, you have to line things up and look at where you are right now in your life. You have to look at what's going on around you. What is your circle of influence? What are the people doing around you? Is this the type of company that you need to keep? Because a lot of the company you keep also is what comes out of you as well. And so I really had to let some things go, let some people go, because a lot of that was consuming an image that I did not want to portray, that I did not want other people to feel like this was a part of me because it was around me. It's a difference when you come into an environment and you change the environment versus the environment changing you.
Yes.
And I had to really take time to understand that within itself, because I didn't always recognize that. I did not always know how powerful that one point meant when you enter a room. You don't always have to open your mouth to make a statement. You don't have to say anything to anybody to say who you are in a room. But
That's
when
so
your
good.
mouth opens, what comes out of it defines you to a certain degree because it says a lot. It's not so much what you say, but it's how you say things. And I will say this, a lot of the ladies before me and some after me, we all shared some very valid points, some very impactful messages that are similar. But even in that, and for those ladies coming after me, don't be discouraged by anything that has came before you, because even when you say it, it's going to be taken differently,
Right.
in a different way. It doesn't matter how many people selling eyelashes. When you
Mm-hmm.
sell your eyelashes, you sell them different. You know, it doesn't
Yes.
matter how many people are doing the same thing. When you
Mm-hmm.
do it, it's coming a different way, and
Mm.
people are going to receive it a different way.
That's a
And
good word.
so, you know, I just really, really, really hope that a lot of the messages that are going forward, you know, people are receiving them for what they are. And not only that, but timing is everything. Timing is everything. When
Yes.
everybody hasn't been able to come in from 12 to 12, you
Right.
know, every hour on the hour. And so if you missed the 2 o'clock message or you missed the 4 o'clock message,
Mm-hmm.
you may just well get a little bit of that message again in the 10 o'clock message, you
Right.
know. And that's
Mm-hmm.
what's so good about this is because sometimes repetition is good. The
It
mind
is.
doesn't always receive it the first time.
So true. So true. That's so true.
It, it doesn't always get it the first time. Sometimes it takes for you to get it different ways. That's just
Mm-hmm.
like when you go to school. You know, your teacher teaches something one way, you might not get it just then. She might have to come at it a different way, or she may have to use audio. She may have to use video. You
Mm-hmm.
know, some people
Mm-hmm.
may not have been able to watch the video and people verbally
Right.
speak these things. Some
Mm-hmm.
people just had to listen and they
Mm-hmm.
didn't quite get it. But when they go back and watch this video, because you're recording it, they may get a whole nother perception of what
Yes.
they heard. And so that is important also. Um, we as women tend to be quick to pray away from likeness.
Mm.
Um, and in that sense, it's because you don't want to be like somebody else. I
Mm-hmm.
deal with a group of women who are single mothers. And single mothers, one common thing that we all have is that we are mothers to some child,
Mm-hmm.
whether it be a girl or a boy. We are
Right.
mothers to some child. And we're out here handling this thing and doing this thing by ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
which is a struggle within itself. And so the title of your conference, Single or Married, I Am a Woman Empowered. You know, we all as mothers, and I've dealt with some of the ones that are married, they feel like they are single because of the
Mm-hmm.
things that a mother deals with and do. We are nurturers, and that's something that a man cannot and cannot be. You know, when we bring a child into this world, there's a certain type of connection that we have with them that it just cannot be attached from. It doesn't matter if this child is given up from adoption or whatever, or you're separated from this child for years, they get grown, move out of your house. There's a certain type of attachment that we have as women. And when you're dealing with a lot of different women, and they tend to have different perceptions and likenesses and dislikes. You tend to have women not wanting to connect, not wanting to deal, not wanting to be a part of a group, so to speak, because women are said to be men. Half of the time I find, and that's just me, I find that a lot of the ones who speak that negativity are the ones who bring the negativity.
Mm.
And so I be quick to understand and see that it's coming from somewhere. And
Right.
it's something that is within them. What comes out of you is a lot of what's in you. And
Mm-hmm.
so I try to redirect that behavior, and that's part of that transformation coach within me, is because I try to look at every negative in a positive way and speak those things in a positive way, just like even with my children. You know, it don't always come out positive at first, especially when, you know, they're giving you all kind of havoc. But I do try to change it and make it positive. And that's with the things in our life and the trials and the tribulations that we go through. We tend to find ourselves um, dwelling on the right now.
Yeah.
You can't do this right now. You don't have this right now. But what will you have? What are you
Mm-hmm.
reaching for? What kind of goals are you setting? And these are the type of things that begin to change your language. It begins to change your mindset and begin to transform the way you do things, the way you move, the type of people you deal with, and what comes out of you. When things are all disrupted and everything's going over our waters and you can't seem to get nothing done. God has put us in a time right now where we are able to get as much done as we need done.
Mm-hmm.
The question is, when we come out of this pandemic, what did you get done?
Right.
What did you get done?
Right.
And so all this time you didn't have, you can make up for that. Did you make up for that? Did you waste that time? Time is something that we can't get back. But now we
Right.
have a lot of it. We can't go do a whole lot of shopping as a lot of us like to do.
Mm-hmm.
Places are closed. Can't go do a whole lot of eating out. Social
Mm-hmm.
gatherings and things of that nature. So now is that time to look at where we are in this time and in this season and begin to build on those things that we haven't been able to build on before. Those
That's
things
good.
that we haven't always had that time to put aside and say, I'm just going to do this.
Right.
Now you can do that. I'm just going
I
to do
think
this.
Trina said it's like at this time it's no excuses. You don't have
It's none.
anything to say. It's no excuses. So if it doesn't get done, it's because it was a choice. But she says it's a building time now. And I do
It is.
think that a lot of people, we use so many excuses as to why, and time is one of them. But now the time is slowed down and you've been put in a position where you've got more time than you probably ever had because you can't go to the mall. You can't go to the restaurants. You can't go to the movies. You can't go to the club, whatever it is that you choose to do, even to the point of you can't even go to church. So you have the time now to sit down to direct yourself, whether it's getting a better spiritual relationship, whether it's getting a better, your finances in order, whether it's starting a business, whatever it is, the time is now for you to use it to elevate to wherever you're going. So I absolutely agree. And I'm glad you brought that point up because people take it for granted. And before you know it, when things start back up, although it'll be different, if you didn't do anything with it now, I mean, what
That's
what
what,
was your excuse?
exactly. What is your excuse? What were you doing with your time?
Hmm.
What were you doing with your time? And now how are you going to make up for that
Exactly.
long time that you did not take advantage of? You
Hmm.
can't blame anybody but you.
But
You
you.
can't blame anybody but you. And, even with time, as I had spoke with you before, in regards to just taking time to work on some things that I was trying to do and put into place, I really had to spend time with self. And this is a message for some of my single women out here who are in the dating arena or who, doing whatever type of social activities outside of the home, as it relates to building relationships. We tend to not give ourselves time to ourselves to really find out who we are and what it is that we want.
Hmm.
And I really know that in this season, if you don't have a significant other, this is that time for you to really find out who you are as a significant other to someone else. Because one thing I do know for certain, if you can't spend time alone with yourself, who in the world will want to spend time alone with you?
Oh, that's good.
And I just, misery loves company. I believe that. I really do. And there was a point in time in my life where I was very miserable. I could not stand to be alone. I had to be around somebody, even if it was just fussing at my kids for no reason. But, I just
Hmm.
had to be in the midst of somebody. And that misery within me came out onto other people. And I had to really come to a point where I said, it obviously is not working. And somebody said to me, and it was a guy actually, he said, well, if all these guys saying this, then there's one common denominator.
The common denominator is that's right. We say, baby, look, the
It
common
must be
denominator. Would
you.
you say, oh, okay,
Right,
yes.
right. And so I was like, okay, so he just stepped down on me on that one. So, I said, well, maybe it's the time for me to have time to myself. And that's what I
Hmm.
did. And that time to myself allowed time for God as well. And allowed him to speak to me in ways that I was never able to hear him before.
Mm.
And it wasn't through people, it was actually hearing his voice. He would, even whether it be through TV or whether it be through something that I will pick up in the newspaper or a book I will open a page to, everything would be confirmation on everything that he has sent me to.
And let me say this, because I hear so many people, I've heard people say, how do you know it's God? How do you know it's God? How do you know when you hear? And I love that you just said this. I kind of want you to repeat it, because for people who don't know, or who will listen to the replay, because I do think most of the women on here seem to have a relationship with God. But for people who don't know and want to know, how do you know? Say it again, in that you see it or it's confirmation in what you hear. But go ahead and repeat it.
One thing I know and I find to be certain is that when you build a relationship with God and he begins to speak to you, you know without a doubt, because for one, it is confirmation of something you have prayed about, something you have asked him for, or something that you have been in search for that you may have not vocalized. God knows our heart. He knows our needs before we even speak them to
Right.
existence. But one of the things I find to be very, very amazing is that because he knows me, and because I have opened up my heart to him, I have allowed myself to understand and hear his voice. And one of the things that we tend to get confused is whether or not it's the right voice or whether it's this made up voice in our head. Yeah, I want to hear this. He ain't going to tell you everything that you want to hear, but he's going to tell you the honest to God truth of what you need to know. And through his word, everything God tells you is confirmation in his word. If you can't go to the Bible and back it up, then it didn't come from him. It didn't come from him. And that's something that I really kind of battled with at one time, because I was like, okay, I would hear different preachers preach and say different things in the pulpit, and I was like, well, that is the problem. Is he getting up?
Right.
And then my grandmama always say, research it for yourself. If you question anything, research it for yourself. Don't just take anything people tell you. Research it for yourself. And so I began to read the word and try to understand it for myself. People have their different interpretations on how they put the word out there. But the word is what it is, and it's plain and it's simple. And one of the things I do know, if you don't understand it, you can ask him to give you understanding. That's one of the things I pray for all the time. Give me wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Because in this world, there are a lot of things that easily confuse us. And as you know, I spoke with you when we did the podcast. A lot of people, they frown and look crazy when I say this, but I am deaf. And they be like, well, how you deaf, but you can talk? I can talk. Hey, so I can speak. I said, I'm deaf.
Right.
So one of the things that came clear to me at the time that I lost my hearing was that at that time I wasn't spiritually oriented, and I wasn't really going to church like that. I was in the world and living in the world. And so a lot of the things that I was hearing was not that of God. I probably wanted it to be, but it wasn't. And once I began to live a lifestyle of transforming my life in a big way, because for one, it was an issue of safety. It was an issue of trust, around me, because I had to be amongst people at that point that I trust. I had to make sure that my safety was first and foremost, because I had to depend on so many outside resources to make sure I was hearing the things that I need to hear correctly. And so even now, I struggle with some of those things today. Many people that know me know some of those struggles, even to communicating with me. But one of the things I can honestly say, there's not one time that when God speaks to me, I even think for any reason that is anybody's voice but his. And the reason being is because anything that he gives me, he's going to always back it up with something to let me know this is me talking to you, not nobody else. And with those things and with those voices that are coming from him, there's some blessings that come along with it. One thing about our God, he's in the blessing business. He ain't in the cursing business. He in the blessing business. He'll let you curse yourself. But one thing about it, he's in the blessing business. And if you're doing and you're being obedient to the things that he's saying to you and that he's speaking to you, then he is going to bless you. And those are the reasons why I know that it's him. Because nobody can bless me no better than what he does.
Oh, yes. Amen.
And that is how I know. And when I tell you I got some blessings lined up that ain't nobody gave me, Because one thing about it, when he gives you something, he don't take it away. You don't come with a reproach. And so I'm thankful for that, and that my life has changed in a mighty way. It's because I figured out the key to those type of things, and that's blessing others. And when he transformed my life and humbled me to realize that, everybody needs somebody. Everybody needs
Yes.
to talk to. And, I've connected with many women who have been a very big inspiration in my life. Ministers, prophets, teachers, people who are in the beauty industry and the like. And they have really just given me another view and a way to just go about living this journey that I'm on, even whether it's from a spiritual connection or just from experience as a woman, and the things that they have encountered. And it has given me the momentum to keep pushing other women like those women have pushed me.
Right.
And so, and my thing is with building stronger women, which is our motto for my nonprofit organization, Single Moms Connect. One of the things I tell every woman that I do help, and every woman that comes into my presence, you don't have to give me anything. I want you to push forward in the journey that God has given you, and that He has blessed you to be able to turn that thing around and bless another woman the way we have been able to bless you. And so that's the key to understanding to keep this thing going. That's how we build stronger women. We ain't trying to tear you down. We're not trying to beat you and kick you while you are already down. You done did that enough. The world is doing that to you enough.
Absolutely.
But one of the things that we as women, like you see these Mexicans out here, they stick together like white on rice. They gonna come together in a clan, whether they living together or riding together. And I said, that's how we need to be. We need to come together, and we need to stick together a lot closer than what we are, because we are like people.
Yes.
We go through similar things. We are up against similar things, and there is no one else who can better understand what we're going through with us. And so I just take any and every opportunity. It can be in the middle of the night. I get a phone call, a domestic violence phone call, and I'm trying to figure out how I can help, where I can help them go, without taking them into my home, because I can't help everybody. I can't take everybody into my home. But one of the things I know that God do, and He don't allow me to rest until He lets me know that He's handling it for me. Even in the midst of my sleep, He's handling it for me. And because He knows my heart, and He knows that, the spirit that I have, I'm not going to let it rest until I know that something is being done, about the situation. And so I've learned to put it in His hands. And if I can trust Him, and I be that, the person in between this person who's needing, this type of help, to let them know I'm advocating for you. If you ain't advocating for yourself, I'm advocating for you, because the God I serve, He is in the blessing business. He is in the healing business. He will restore your situation. He will get you back up on your feet. But you just got to know and believe and trust that. Just like you call me and trying to trust me, I'm man. And some things might come up in my life, and I might not be able to come through.
Exactly.
But one thing about it, you got to trust God to work for me to get this thing done. That's one of the things we tend to miss that part right there, even in our relationships. We always try to pray, asking God, to do this and that with this other person. But one of the things we tend to put our trust into man, and that's something we just cannot do, because man will fail you every time. Man is not capable of producing and doing what it is that God is going to do for you.
Exactly.
He will use man, but you got to know that God is the one that's doing it. He's the one that's working through.
And we tend to put our trust in man all the time. It never fails. You set up an unrealistic expectation, and you put so much pressure on somebody to be everything that you need, to be everything that you want. And when it doesn't measure up, and whether it's not just, a romantic relationship, but even in a business relationship, or even in, somebody trying to get to the next level, and they're expecting you to help them get out of a situation, as Pastor Trina said, sometimes even with your family, making decisions that get them in bad situations, and they expect you to help them get out. At the end of the day, you still have to trust God, but we don't trust Him. as much as we'll trust a man.
Exactly. And it's crazy enough. But one of the things you have to see is that one person can't do it all.
Mm.
One person don't have all the answers. So if that one person don't have all the answers, there was a connection somewhere. And it's not always a connection because that person knows all the answers or that
Mm-hmm.
person know all the people. Those connections, even like this platform that you have today, these connections that are being made is something that was put together and ordained by
Amen.
God. And he
Amen.
used you to do it. We couldn't put our trust in you alone to make sure and
Mm-hmm.
execute this thing because anything could have happened to you.
Right.
Anything could have caused you not to be on this platform today and host this thing. But because of the way he blessed you and anointed you to put it together, he put that thing in place and it was going to go. You know,
Mm-hmm.
every woman on this platform is in place, on time, when they're supposed to be, and ready to go.
Yes, ready to go and drop
Ready,
that word. Do you hear me? I'm telling you,
ready,
it's like I
ready.
can't even tell you. And the crazy thing about it is, we practiced last night. You know, I had a few people because I was like, okay, let me just make sure everything is good because I don't want any mishaps. I want everybody. Girl, the microphone was humming and buzzing, girl, like, and I was like, Lord, I can't have this messed up on me tomorrow. And we figured it out, you know. And so to this morning, I think Eugene and I got on and automatically my system just said PC shutting down to reboot. And I'm like, what? You got to be kidding me. But then it popped back on and it's just been smooth. So it's like, whatever the word was for whomever it was that was on here, they needed to get it, and God set it up for them to have it. So it was like he removed whatever obstacle it was so that they can get it. So I have no choice but to believe that whatever God put inside of me to get it started, it was for the benefit, even if it's one person that walks away
Right.
that got something out of here. But I know it was more. But even if it's just one, that one is enough, because at the
Right.
end of the day, if we're trying to empower each other, and sometimes, you know, God does things and you think of it for somebody else and it's really for you. You know,
Right.
because the
Yes.
blessing of seeing things come together, seeing people, you know, just how God can connect little dots and put people, you know, in place. To see Jessica say, oh, what you said, Trina, was what I needed to hear at this particular time. Let's get together because I need you to
Right.
help me to that next level. It's those
Right.
type of things, you know what I'm saying, that can be said or that you can resonate, you know, like Trina was saying, yes, when you were talking about, you know, just your relationship with God and how you can trust him, you know, for people to make comments. All those things are tied together because people can, you know, it's like confirmation of what you've been seeing or what you've been thinking or what you've been praying about or whatever. It's the manifestation of that because you are aligned with where you're supposed to be.
Yeah, you are. You definitely are. And I know that even, just working with different women, different organizations in the community, you know, you you connect with people and the timing that you connect with people it's all within itself. It's all,
Mm-hmm.
a divine appointment. I don't take anything for granted. When I meet somebody, I know that was God's way of orchestrating that thing so that whatever it is in his plan to be done is executed. And, he definitely is in the place of doing the business of making sure that those who are obedient and those who are doing his will, that thing is going to go according to his plan.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we have a vision, is the vision that he gave us. We speak it as it is ours, but he gave it to us. It's something that
Mm-hmm.
he birthed within us. So you will speak it as ownership. You will speak of it as it is yours because he did give it to you.
Mm-hmm.
That is your position. You're playing your position. You're playing what he birthed into you. And
That's
one of the
good.
things about playing your position, and this was one of the points that I wanted to share on tonight, it was in relation to the game of basketball. One of the things about basketball, I'm not big on basketball, but I'm a basketball player, but my kids play basketball.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things about basketball, there's a key component to the game, and that's the rim. The
Mm.
rim is where you score your points. If that ball don't go in that rim, it ain't scoring no points. But one thing about it, you can't be playing defense and think you're going to score no points. You got to be
Mm.
playing offense in order to score in the game. And one of the things about when you're driving the ball and when you have the ball in your hand, you calling a shot. Whether you try to take that ball in and drive it yourself or whether you try to pass it to the other players on the court. But one of the things about it, when you got that ball in your hand, you are in control of what's about to go on next.
Mm.
And whether you take those shots yourself, you could be taking a shot that's going to be a 2-pointer. You could be taking a shot that's going to be a 3-pointer. It's all in your position and how you plan your position.
Mm.
And in life, that is the same thing we deal with when we're doing things, when we're trying to execute things. Everybody's trying to score. But how you plan your position? Are you playing your position to score? Are you just throwing the ball so it can bounce off the backboard and try this thing again?
Mm.
What are you doing with your time? Because the clock is steady ticking. It is steady ticking. And every game that I know, there's a clock, and the clock is ticking. So you don't just have all the time in the world to do what it is that you want to do when you want to do. You got to do it according to God's time and
Yes.
according to God's way. And those are some very valid things that I try to stay in conform with when I do things, when I plan to do things, and I try to make sure that everybody is on one accord with that, because it's being obedient to what it is that He has.
That's good. That's good. And you know, it's so funny because although all of you, you know, are coming from different perspectives, the theme is so good. You know, it ties into being obedient because bottom line, the word says obedience is better than sacrifice. So you have to understand that in being obedient, because you think about it, even as children, when you're obedient, things happen better for you. You know what I'm saying? You have to, and a lot of times being obedient means that it may be something that you really don't want to do.
Right.
You know, that's why, you know, more kids are disobedient than they are obedient. But if you take the time to say that I may not want to do this, but because you say I have to, and because I respect you, and because I trust you, because I love you, then I'm going to do what you say, even if I don't want to. But when you do that and you get in alignment, that's when the thing starts happening for you, more than even what you thought was going to happen had you not even done it. So you think that, you know, back in the day when your parents tell you, you know, okay, you need to stay in the house or don't go to that party or don't go do this, that, and the third. And you think, well, you know, I need to go. I mean, whatever. You want to do your own thing, something winds up happening. Sometimes you got to trust that if somebody said don't do it or this is what you need to do, then you trust that. And yes, Pat, the Holy Spirit is weaving every speaker's message together. Thank you. Yes, He is weaving things together, because at the end of the day, as you're being obedient, that is what is going to get you your greatest blessing. That is what's going to get you what you actually need. But because we are so hard-headed and because we don't trust the voice, because like somebody said earlier, we're asking everybody else who to give us a decision, but we really need to go to God and trust that what He's going to give us is going to be the right thing, because it never fails. He's not going to steer us wrong.
Amen. And that is the that is the honest to God truth. And it's just for me, and even when, you know, I think back to being a child, when my mother would say do something, you know, it would be one thing. But when grandma say do it, it would be the exact same thing. It wasn't about what they were saying do, it was who it was coming from.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to really tie that in to God. And when God say do something versus what somebody else say do, because you really put yourself in a position, you know, of disobedience when it comes to God, and He will chastise you. He will chase you about that thing. He will run you down. You wondering why you going through all kind of hell and heck. You ain't going.
Baby, every time you turn around, get tires, look, get nails and tires, you know, the engine wants to, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Money just spent because you're being disobedient. And see, people don't equate things that happen, but at the end of the day, yes, things will happen to make you sit your behind down. If you say sit down, you're gonna make things gonna happen for you to sit down, whether you want them to or not. So it's so much easier to just be like, okay, you know what, I surrender all.
All right.
And whatever you want to do, whatever, however you want to use me, Lord. Yes, let me sit on down and whatever you need. Okay, I'm good. I'm not gonna question it.
That's when you understand Him and you have that relationship. And you have to have a relationship. If that relationship is not there, this is over your head. The people you're speaking to about that, it's over their head because they're not there yet. They haven't had that encounter or experience to know and to be able to know the difference in, oh, this has happened to me because I ran over a nail in the street. How did that nail get there?
Thank you.
What made you go
Look,
that
wait a
way?
minute. Now there's 15 other people that went down this road, baby. Ain't nobody got a flat tire but you.
Nobody, but you got it. You
But you
got it.
got it. Miss Pat said,
Right.
"Stop blaming the devil." That's right, because everything is not. Sometimes you're the enemy. You're your own worst enemy because you don't do what you know you're supposed to do. And at the
Right.
end of the day, when they say you know better, do better, and you still continue to do anything anyway, you can't expect life to go in the direction that you want it to go, because bottom line,
Exactly.
God loves you too much to keep on
And he
letting you go out here and show out and be
exactly.
foolish. Really, He wants you
Exactly.
to sit down and go the pathway that he has designed for you. And you hear about people all the time that run from things, because it's like, that ain't what I wanted to do, because I laughed when we did the podcast. Remember when you were saying, I don't want to be doing people's feet, or I don't want
Right.
to be doing this, that, and the other. You know what I'm saying? That's not what I want to
Right.
do. But he brought it all together, because where you needed to go and the people that you needed to influence were lined up and tied into, you've been a transformation coach. You were able to transform people from the outside, and then you switch
Right.
to transforming them from the inside. So
Right.
everything works together, and sometimes we run from what's the greatness that we can provide to somebody, because we don't want to be held accountable or responsible, because it's a heavy weight, it's a heavy load sometimes, to do what
Right.
God has called you to do. But if you
Right.
do it, you turn around and realize, wow, should have been and did that.
Okay. Yeah, you said that. And one thing is for certain. When you do what he say do, the feeling
Hmm.
it's you can't even describe it. You have to
Exactly.
experience it for yourself. It's
Hmm.
not nothing you can tell somebody. Honestly, it's not nothing you can tell somebody. It's something that's here. It's a connection with him directly. And that
Hmm.
relationship has to be there in order for you to feel that. And that's that Holy Spirit. That's that part that everybody's not able to connect with unless you are there. And until you
Hmm.
experience the Holy Spirit for yourself and know when he is coming through you and to you, you will never understand what it means to be obedient. And the obedience is better than sacrifice. You can tell somebody that all day long and they
Hmm.
think a sacrifice is better than anything. God
Hmm.
sacrificed his life and this, that, and the other. Yeah, but he was obedient.
Hmm.
He
Because
was obedient.
even when he didn't want to, he was
Right,
like, Lord, honey, if it's any way to take this
right,
cup, remove it from me, but yet and still let
right.
your will, not my will, be done. Miss Pat said she
Exactly.
ran hard from preaching, and she said she was giving God names like, baby, don't use me, use such and such. We said, Miss Pat, but at the
Okay.
end of the day, it was still
Right,
for you. Yes,
right. It
and you
is.
have to, we can run, but bottom line, I mean, we want to take, what we think is the better way, because but the Bible says lean not into your own understanding,
It
so
is.
we've got to, be, as you get older, you start to have to really start sitting down and realizing that time is getting shorter and shorter. The older you live, the longer you live, the shorter your time is getting. It's more
Exactly.
days, if
It
behind you
is.
than it was in front of you. So you got to
It
start
is.
making choices that line up for you to have the best quality of your life. Because at the bottom line, God can do something in 60 days that is taking some people 60 years to get done.
Okay. Okay. He'll turn that thing around for you and you make your head spin. He's
Mhm.
able to do things that are unspeakable. They're not
Mhm.
explainable. And that's when you know it's him. That's when you know it's
Yes.
him. And I'm just thankful that I have come to realization I just wish I had a long time ago.
Yes.
A long time ago. I would probably have saved myself a lot of heartache and pain, but it was a part of the process. It
It
was
was a
a
part of the
part of me
process.
getting to where I am.
Mhm.
Because if I hadn't, and if I had skipped that part,
Mhm.
the many people that needed me to come through their path, I wouldn't have.
That's good. That's
I would
good.
not have. And
That's
so
good.
that was necessary. It was necessary. And
Absolutely.
we definitely have to know the difference in the two. That struggle we go through is necessary
Mhm.
because you would not be as adamant about something if you had not gone through it yourself. You
So
cannot
true.
speak to nobody about something that you have not experienced or gone through
Mm.
yourself. That
Yes.
that talk that you have with them is totally different from someone just coming from a professional standpoint or an
Mhm.
educational standpoint. I can get a book and read something and tell you the definition of something all day long. But to sit here and tell you something about a domestic violence dispute that I've experienced myself to the point at the hands of a man telling me that he would take my life if I say
Mm.
anything and do this in front of my children,
Mm.
that's not something nobody can talk to you about unless you have
Exactly.
experienced it for yourself.
Mhm.
You can't tell
Mhm.
me to walk away from this situation if you have not walked away from one yourself, you know.
Oh,
And so I be careful as to what I speak to people about. I don't speak to everybody about everything because it's not my place.
that's
I
good.
play my role. I play my
That's
role.
good. That's
And
good.
if I can't, I'm not going to speak on somebody else's understanding on something because it's not my place. I'll direct you to
Mhm.
them, but I'm not going to speak on it because I can't give you what somebody else can who's actually going
Right.
through.
And
Okay.
I'm so glad you said that because I think that, we feel so entitled to speak on somebody's situation. But again, if you've not been there, if you've not experienced it, it's things that I can say, girl, I wouldn't. But at the same time, in understanding that you don't know what you're going to do until you actually get in a situation. You can say
Right.
all day long what you're not going to do, but until you actually get in that situation and are faced with those decisions, will you be able to tell somebody how you did what you did to get where you are up out of that mess? And if you
Right.
can't speak to that and you've never been through it, you can say it, but is it really your place to say it when you
Mm-hmm.
don't really even understand the thought process that caused you to even get to that point to be in a position to make those kind of decisions?
And you just lost that person.
Mm-hmm.
Because one thing about it, you don't get a second chance to make a first impression on anything, even when it comes to a conversation,
Oh,
even when it comes to redirecting somebody on anything or any behavior. You only get one shot at that. And if that shot don't come direct and on point, you won't get that second chance at it. Not like
mm,
you did the first time, you
right.
know? And that's even with our kids, you know. You can try up and down, come at them about any and everything with different angles. But if you don't hit it dead on the first time, you're not going to get a second chance to come back at them about that point and think it's going to have an impact.
Right. Mm-mm-mm. Now, I'm telling you, I already knew that you were going to come in and give us some wisdom, because we've already had conversations. But I
Right,
want you to really speak about, for the single women, single mothers on here. Let them know about your group and how they can, connect with you, how they can, become part of connecting with a larger group of women who understand, what it's like. Because, like you said, even with, some mothers, some women are married and still are single parents. You know what I'm saying?
right,
So it may be that you fit that bill, even though you may be in a relationship, you still may feel like all the weight and pressure is on you. And if it's somebody who has a two-parent household with active parents, they may not understand your struggle. But for
right,
somebody who is on their own out here doing things and making it happen, and if you just want to be able to connect with somebody who can understand and can
right,
listen, because sometimes we just need somebody to feel your pain and understand you know what you need in order to come out on the other side better. And so I love that you have taken the time to put that in place, and even with that, you do, what is it, moms in business, is that right?
yes, moms
Moms
and
in
business.
business. So, just really being able to be an advocate for single mothers, to give you a place to a safe place to speak, a safe place to, share, a safe place to connect, a place to be able to give you resources and tips and tools to get you in business from one level to the next. She's selfless about that. She
Right.
goes in and really speaks to a lot of people. So I do want you to share, how they can do that and a little bit more about both of those organizations.
Okay. The Single Moms Connect is a nonprofit 501c3 for single mothers that serve in the Middle Georgia area and actually expanding throughout the state of Georgia. Um, we serve single mothers, whether they are single, never been married, separated, divorced, widows, um, and even married women who find themselves raising these children by themselves or feeling like they're really doing a lot of this by themselves. We welcome all of them. Our motto, building stronger women. In any of the areas that you find yourself weak, trying to grow, trying to build, whether it's in business, whether it's just dealing with certain things such as a mother with a disability, children with disabilities, or trying to get jobs and dealing with issues in the workforce or dealing with things with the school system, whatever it is that a single mother deals with, we try to hit on those things based on the area that you live and based on the needs of the women in that area as a majority. And what we do, because we can't get everything. We can't
Mm-hmm.
touch on everything. We try to touch on what the majority needs are in those communities. And what we do is we do that through surveys. We do that through events that are going on in the community. We do collaborations with other agencies. But one of the things we do, we build on this with women who are single mothers who understand the plight that you're going through, who are willing to help build you up. Our foundation of mothers are built on women who are strong in spirit, who are strong in support system, who know what it means to have a support system. And even if they don't, they have learned through being connected with us. And they want to pour back into the lives of other women who struggle with those things, who struggle with trying to be a good parent and know what it means to be effective in parenting. It's not always means spending time with your kids. And sometimes it means going to the school. Sometimes it means staying at home when you could be hanging out, doing other things in your social life. It does mean protecting your children when other people won't protect them and having their back, even when everything is against them. So those are the things that we try to make sure the effectiveness of the parenting because you're doing it by yourself. But one thing about it, we believe it takes a village. And when it takes a village, it takes everybody in your circle of influence, everybody around you, the church, the schools, the teachers, your neighbors, anybody that you trust and know that you're doing this and you're doing this alone, but you need the help and the eyes of others around you. These people are all a part of that village. And so we try to connect with these villages. And we try to make sure that these villages are pouring back into the lives of these single mothers in our community. Because the rate of single mothers is the third largest in the state of Georgia out of the United States. And so that alone is a reason for a need to be met, for us to open our eyes and see these single mothers are saturated in these shelters. They don't have places to go. And we don't have places to send them. And they're victims of domestic violence. They're victims of so many different things, losing jobs and not able to continue to get their education because they can't get child care. They're continuously having children. They can't take care of the ones they got. And the list goes on and on. But one of the things I will say, our organization, you can connect with us on Facebook. You can connect with us on Instagram, Single Moms Connect Incorporated. We are 501c3. We do different activities every month. We meet with our moms. We have our Moms in Business group, which is a group of women who are mothers who understand the difference in being a mother, having your own business, having that business mindset, but still juggling being a mom job and doing your job and your career, whatever it is that you choose to do. And those things are not easy. But it's a certain type of mindset that these women have because they know they got to do what they're doing in order to make a way for them and their children. And so we come together. We pour into resources and things, and we share these things, and we do things together. We empower one another, and we build each other up. We support each other's business, for one thing, because it's nothing like having people who support your business. You can be in business easily and go out of business quick. And if you don't have that support, if you don't have people supporting what you do, that's what will happen. And so we do try to support one another, network, and we grow things. We grow our mindsets, and first we grow our hearts to know that we are sisters. We love one another. We don't want to see each other fall. And this thing is not something we're doing alone because others have done it before us. But one thing about it, we got to keep that ball rolling. We got to keep pushing one another, and we got to know that this is real. This is something that we were born to do. God put it in us to do, and we just got to do it.
Amen. Period. Yes. I'm so glad that we were able to connect and you were able to share that, because there are a lot of single mothers out here who are struggling and don't have that support system. So I'm glad that, did you give them the way to connect to the groups?
Facebook and on Instagram. You can also go to, we have our website, www.singlemoms.org. That's our website. Like I said, you can message us on Instagram or you can message us on Facebook. And we have an email, singlemoms_@yahoo.com. And you can contact us via phone, 478-302-0662. And we have representatives that will be able to answer the phone, to answer any questions you have, and direct you to the right sources and also the right areas in the where depending on where you're from or where you're located, so that you will have some type of connection in your area to our other resources that we connect with.
Amen. Well, definitely, we'll get all the information because I told all the ladies that I will be sending a follow-up email with everybody's information on there so they can, connect to the different groups and everything. So, um, just again, want to say thank you. Thank you for showing up
Thank
and
you.
thank you for, sharing. I think the world of you. And so, I know this is not going to be the last time we collaborate on anything.
No.
We got plenty more things in store together to do. So,
Okay.
yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So,
Thank you.
ladies,